Parramatta City, Mr. Andrew Wilson, who's long been a friend of Falun Gong and supporting our activities. Let's give him a round of applause.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another year and I'm giving another speech where I'm saying exactly the same thing about our basic humanity and the longing of people for freedom. But I can tell you something. The torture and oppression of China is not a mark of strength. They live on their side of the facade. These tyrannies cannot last and will not last forever. Simple as that. And when I look here at this audience, I see such a diverse political background. Keith Piper from the Christian Democrats, Phil Bradley from the Greens, and of course Charles Kamanzuli, a Liberal, and then James Shaw, who will later be speaking as an ALP man. And what is politics? Why do we go into politics except to serve your fellow man? How can you come home from a day's work, if you would call it work, and explain to your family and your friends what it is you have been doing? How do you live with yourself? And this is one of the key things that I believe you have a look at it. The tyranny of the Soviet Union lasted 75 years. These people have been in since 1949, coming out of a terrible civil war, and soldiers that have done horrific things are capable of continuing that on in civilian life. But they don't want that for their children. They educate them, they feed them and so forth, and so the amount of people who will commit these crimes goes down and goes down radically. Falun Dafa has documented the number of people who have just torn up their Communist Party cards because they could not stand it anymore. And this is what we will see again. In fact, we have seen it. We saw where in Tiananmen Square, from one of the most educated parts of China, the people weren't prepared to put up with it anymore, so they had to drag them in off the Mongolian border because their own soldiers wouldn't do it. So they dragged in guys who'd clashed with the Russians from rural backgrounds and with various political figures as their commanders, and then they would. But how long can that go on? I ask you this, and any Chinese patriot today, looking at the fact that their population will halve, courtesy of the one-child policy over the next 30 years, has got to say, how many enemies do we need? They're clashing with Japan over rocks in the South China Sea. They have put a missile base basically off the coast of the Philippines. They've clashed in living memory with both India and Russia, and to open up a front within your own country against, can I say this, just offhandedly, if you want a group of people to pick for enemies, I'll tell you, I would pick fanatical Buddhists any day of the week. They're not going to do anything with you. They're going to pray for you. These are kind, genuine, generous people who love their nation and love their fellow human being. Why would you persecute them? And I'll tell you why. They used to encourage it. I can recall when they were encouraging Falun Dafa all throughout China because of the moral basis that it gave for people. And then they started to say, well, that guy's corrupt, and this guy is corrupt, and this is going wrong, and shouldn't we just fix this? And that's all you've got to do to a dictator, to an oppressor, to get them offside. And as has been said, China does a lot of business with us. But the great thing about them is that they always take the cheapest price. They scream and they carry on and they do this and they put pressure on their friends and all that. But at the end of the day, when the little bloke is working out what he's going to buy in his factory, whether it's Australian wheat or Ukrainian wheat, etc., he goes for the cheapest price. Yes, there would be a, how should I put it, an unsettled period where they would try and hurt us to make it a bit of an example to others. But if we just held strong to our guns and strong to our beliefs, then they would very quickly forget that. They do a lot of business with people they can't stand and always have. So all I would say to you is that the problem, as I see it, in our relationships isn't them. There will always be thugs in this world. It's how you deal with thugs. And it is sad for me that we haven't taken a stronger line. So I'll leave you with that today, and thank you all for coming out here. You're all doing the right thing, and I thank you.